EGB, your esports betting world. The only place to find the widest choice of popular games and matches to win real money. Choose your bet on a single event or express of several matches with dizzy odds. Serving the market for 7 years with over 800,000 users. Join now to get your bonus for the first deposit up to $600. EGB, you know for sure who's gonna win.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban.
Shadow Fiend.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban.
Hello guys and welcome, good day friends, and here we go with the Arena of Blood Season 2. We're glad to see you on the UCC broadcast. Next couple of hours, all action, draw, blood, and awesome plays are for you. Guys, sorry. Also guys, our partner EGB.com gives you an awesome proposal. The first deposit bonus of up to $600. At EGB.com, you can also find convenient service, daily quests, and a bonus system. Interested? Click on the banner under the broadcast to learn more. My name is DSwordfish. I'll be your caster for today. Hope you enjoy the cast as per usual. And let's get on right with it, because we have a really exciting best of 3 in front of us. Empire Hope versus Khan, if I'm not mistaken. There we go. Empire Hope versus Khan is the best of 3. This is the first match of the best of 3. Let's see how this goes. Empire Hope, they're running a draft that I am not a big fan of, because of course, they're running the Weaver. I like this hero. I haven't liked this hero for a while, but the Weaver Tuskar does give the Weaver a bit more late game viability, and they are running a secondary carry in the form of Shadow Fiend, so it does seem like they have a very concise idea in mind. So I will criticize from my opinion, right, that the Weaver is not a great hero, but they do have an idea that has cohesion and it's logical behind it, right? The Underlord and the Shadow Fiend will ensure that your mid game is strong, your lanes are secured by the Tusk and the Dark Willow, and you have a very solid scaling, especially against a team like Khan, who's actually going for a relatively slow draft with a Spectre pickup. Sure, the Pango has an okay laning stage, and he does secure that laning stage to some degree, but the Kato and Rubik are not strong enough supports to really make kills out of the early game, so you can't dominate the lanes, and you can't really stop Empire Hope from snowballing in that mid game. Let's see what Khan runs as their final pick. They need to counter the Shadow Fiend somehow and make sure he has a bad lane. Things that come to mind against an SF. Quap I really like, actually. Quap is also pretty solid against the Weaver and really strong against Underlord because she carries some pure damage, which Underlord cannot mitigate. Underlord actually has a really bad strength gain, so he is kind of vulnerable to Sonic Wave at all. Quap also gives you some extra team fight and is a nice space creator, so I actually do like the Quap a lot. I will always suggest this, even though teams don't like her, but the Lina I also find pretty decent. Area stun against a Dark Willow, a way to deal with the SF. Potential Aghanims is you have to deal with the BKB SF, or a physical damage build, either or. A way to punish the Snowball, a way to punish the Underlord Taxi as well, and a Yule Scepter, which is also really nice to stop people from getting inside that Dark Rift. In addition to having a pretty good lane against the SF. Those are the two heroes that really come to mind, though I do think it's going to be a Quap most likely. But let's see, maybe Khan decided to go for something a bit different. It is Arrow, so heroes I've seen Arrow play, Quap, Medusa, Razor. Medusa could work if it wasn't because you already have a Spectre, right? And Razor against SF is not the best of matchups. Also, later on, Razor against Weaver is not the great of matchups, so I would rather see the Quap. Kunkka. Okay, Kunkka against SF. You have some balls, Arrow. You have some balls. I don't mind the Kunkka. Kunkka's actually quite strong against the Weaver, and in terms of tempo, he fulfills the same role as the Queen of Pain. So, in that regard, Kunkka does have the synergy, I guess, you'd be looking for. Kunkka's also very solid against SF coming the mid-game. He's a very good hero against SF coming that mid-game because he's able to just always counter him. And if SF goes for a Yule Scepter build, you can always just set up the torrent after the Yule Scepter. It's not like the SF Yule Scepter beats you by any means, so you should be quite happy with that. The issue, of course, with the Kunkka is that the lane against SF, even with double bracer, is a bit difficult. You're going to require double bracer and infused raindrops to be able to beat him. The first levels are okay, because SF has no clockwork with him, so Kunkka should actually win the early levels, but then he may be forced to go into the jungle. Even if you go for double bracer, even if you go for the infused raindrops, SF can kill you. So you have to be really, really careful in that matchup. He is not as hard countered as something like a DK, for example, because he does carry some mobility, and you can actually go for, instead of going for an early... Instead of going for an early torrent point, you can actually go for an early point the next marks the spot, which allows you to go back home and heal and just play the lane with Tidebringer, which is quite clever. And I would suggest doing that, like level 2 X marks the spot, level 3 Tidebringer, level 4 torrent. So you can actually play around with that early bottle that I'm assuming he's going to try to get, if not the double bracer. You can also go back to base and not need the courier to bring you stuff, which is also very useful, so you're going to need to have a lot of healing in this lane. I'm inclined slightly towards the Empire Hope lineup. I think they have a quicker lineup and their tempo is around the same timing, so it's very, very good. The concern I have, of course, is that the other lineup has a much easier win condition execution, right? If Khan manages to win that early game, or at least tie the early game and survive the mid game, your late is guaranteed because a Spectre is untouchable by a Weaver. You know, so the win condition for this team is quite easy. But let's see how this goes once we start with the game. And with the game underway, Empire Hope versus Khan. Let's see how the lanes turn out for Empire Hope. It's probably one of the more important parts of this game. As with proper lanes, like I mentioned, Empire Hope can mitigate... Sorry, with proper lanes, Empire Hope could potentially snowball and then become an uncatchable force. But with bad lanes, their mid-game is going to be reduced, or at least delayed considerably here, which is definitely not what Empire Hope is looking for. Okay, we continue onwards, Empire Hope. Let's see how they can also utilize these supports. I'm assuming it's going to be a Tusk plus Weaver. It's a waste of a Tusk pick if you don't... Or it's a waste of a Weaver pick if you don't go Tusk plus Weaver. Because part of the whole thing about them is that you actually go tag team plus the Geminate attack. In fact, I wouldn't actually mind seeing Weaver going for... Like, even going for a 1-2-2 build, something like that. Not putting full points in Shikuchi. Because the second point in Shikuchi already gives you enough movement speed to be like max movement speed, like it gave you before. The cooldown is a bit high, sure, but maxing the Geminate attack early, especially the second point in Geminate attack, it reduces, I think, cooldown from 9 seconds to 6 seconds, which is absolutely brutal. So I would like to see that instead. But we'll see. We'll see how they want to play this. I also like the Weaver pick against the Caudle, I will say. I think it's a pretty nice counter to Caudle. He's also a pretty decent hero against the Pango, even if Rubik does counter you a bit. Both Pango and Caudle suffer a lot against the Weaver, because the Pango can just be mowed down little by little. He's not the hero with the highest resistance, or highest HP, or highest armor, or whatever, so Weaver does hit you. The Swarm stays despite rolling Boulder, as it does affect you regardless. And the Weaver also always has vision over the Pango, so it becomes a bit difficult. You have to kind of deal with that constant mobility. Weaver can perpetually chase you, can kill you inside the ball, and the chance of Weaver dying to Rolling Thunder is rather low because of the nature of the hero. So we'll see. We'll see how this turns out for them. Just want to double check if I... Okay, just double check. Cool. So,
Really now, you should have seen that.
let's get right into the game. The pause has been started. I would probably say that it's kind of Khan's game right now. Sorry, it's kind of Empire Hope's game right now. And then if we get past the mid game, then we can kind of start saying that Khan wins. Just by default, honestly. The by default draft, though, is a dangerous one because it puts a lot of psychological pressure onto you. You understand that there's a certain point where you're going to lose this game, so you have to win early-ish. And you don't have much push to make that happen, right? So, in these kind of drafts, it's hard to execute. Because the whole point is that you're not necessarily going to win the game at a certain point. You're going to have to be winning by that certain point, right? And the whole idea is you're going to have to put a lot of pressure onto the Spectre, make sure that her late game is delayed, and by virtue of that, win almost by attrition, right? By a constant war of attrition. It's difficult. Both teams are also evenly matched, I would say, mechanically speaking. I think both teams they're both kind of the same level, tactically and mechanically. So it's just really about the drafts and how they execute them. One draft being easier to execute. And it's interesting, right? Because if we were talking about this in like a higher tiers, if we were talking about this, you know, having teams that always compete in majors, etc., versus these two teams who are pretty good, but obviously not at the same tier as, say, a Secret or an OG. If we're talking about high tier Dota, then I would completely give Empire Hope this game. Because in high tier Dota, whoever proposes first always wins. It's just that simple. You know, you cannot fight a super quick draft. And there's less advantages to a draft that's easy to execute. However, in lower tier Dota, that's not all the same case. In lower tier Dota, an easier to execute draft does mean a lot, even if you are not in the land stage and there's not that much pressure onto you. So, interesting. Okay, Lightless in the early game. I don't know what he went for, actually. Can't tell if he went for raises just yet, but he did get one last hit, so I'm presuming raises, right? Because getting one last hit against Akunka is near impossible. In the bottom lane, we're going to see, of course, level 1 tag team. Tatakai already level 2 and gets 1 point in Geminated attacks. Really useful. Really, really useful with the tag team. I mean, I'm surprised that he's not playing more aggressively here, because he could be against the Rubik and just get the first blood, honestly. Getting the first blood on Weaver is so easy with a Tuskar. I guess maybe they're waiting for the snowball. Lightless does show that he has gone for level 1 raises. The best build, honestly. I've never seen a Shadowfiend going for level 1 souls, unless he's actually Necromaster, I think it's called. Unless he's going with a Clockwork, right? So that's nice. In the top lane, Underlord is going to mitigate a lot of the damage from the Spectre. She has really bad agility gain in general. She lacks damage in the early game. I think she starts with 51 base. Even with a Quelling Blade, it's reduced considerably by the Atrophy Aura. You can't really trade nicely with Underlord, and his Firestorm is brutal as well. In addition to the constant Brown Blaze harassment. So we're seeing this, actually. The Underlord is actually beating his lane, so is the Shadow Fiend, surprisingly. Already this early, and he's winning this lane. This is a huge win for Lightless, actually. Because as the game progresses, it becomes much more difficult to deal with him. Mastery in the top lane. Again, those boots of speed, first item. Once he gets him, he's going to be able to properly harass the Spectre. All lanes are going the way of Empire Hope, which is exactly what they were hoping for. Pun intended here. And it's going to be tough for the enemy team to recover here. I don't know how they're going to create space. They have some counter-pushing mechanics with the Caudle and the Rubik, so they're not too bad. Lightless. With that level 2, I can imagine he can push out Arrow completely now out of the lane. We're seeing a lot of Regen going for Arrow. It doesn't really matter because he got to level 4, so I guess he went for a 1-2-1 build as you usually do. And okay, he must have the bracers because those raises are not dealing too much damage. In fact, Arrow's actually playing this aggressively. I think you can beat him. There's a torrent. Tidebringer's available soon. The tower's not going to be bothered. They use the creep as a shield. Nice job there on the cliff. And they get the kill thanks to that Tidebringer. Okay. Kunkka. Alright, impressive matchup against a Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend being a bit too cocky. You can't play low HP against a Kunkka either. And he's not being able to push him out due to the bracers I can only imagine he's carrying. So now, okay, this is a concern. This is actually a concern. This is really good for the Kunkka because now your Space Creator is going to come online. Shadow Fiend requires a much more farm to come online than a Kunkka. Kunkka just really needs level 6 and he's ready. That's level 7 ideally, right? And that's it, where Shadow Fiend does require at least one item, so it's going to look a bit different here. And especially because of this, you can actually use Kunkka and Pangolier, who are both kind of item independent, to create space for your Spectre early on. And even if you lost the lane with a Spectre, it doesn't really matter, because she is going to be able to recover. We could even see an Economicon build on Spectre to recover, which would actually help him out, even if it does make him ever so slightly slower. And that's really impressive though in the middle lane. I think partially though an issue by the Shadow Fiend, because yes, even if the lane matchup does favor you, it's not like a 90-10, right? Shadow Fiend destroys things like DK, for example, does not destroy things like the Kunkka. Not that by that much, especially not with the bracers. So you have to be much more wary of your positioning and much more wary of your HP. Now, for example, Arrow has to be really careful. As you can see, one last raise would finish him off. But yeah, there we go. The single bracer there is already enough. He gets a double bracer from the courier, so now he's ready to fight this, even with the boots. And he's going to use the X-Mark spot trick to get back home, even get some healing in the process. Really smart. This is how you should be playing the lane, and Kunkkas have gotten wiser and wiser against Shadow Fiends. Very well done. James, unfortunately, can't really keep harassing the Coddle because of the blinding light, but they're putting a lot of pressure on that lane regardless, keeping the Spectre at bay. And we can see that Shadow Fiend is winning in terms of last hits, right? The Kunkka got the nice little kill, which makes it so that Kunkka has a more even lane, but it's not enough to beat the Shadow Fiend in last lane potential. Of course he's not. Yeah, it's still a beneficial matchup for Shadow Fiend considerably. Probably it's like a 70-30 or so. It's just that he misplayed a bit. I wouldn't say misplay, I think he just got cocky. Kisher Cat, okay, they want to go for this rune. I don't know, Kisher Cat could be dying here as a result. He does get the rune. Is it worth... Oh, no, there's actually a bit of ADHD there. Not what you want to do, huh? You kind of were not really sure of what objective to go for, and because of that, the tag team and Gemini attack combo could not really work out. Which means that you couldn't really get the kill on either Rubik or Pango. They could have gone for either, and both of them could have been dead because you just saw them use a swashbuckle, but... They decided to just play that defensively. Okay, Empire Hope, if you play this combo, I was expecting much more aggression from you. Also, wow, 1-1-1 build with a Weaver? Oof. I don't think this Tusk is being well utilized whatsoever, frankly. The fact that Weaver has no kills already in the early game is not too great. You have a tag team after all. Yes, Pango is not the easiest kill, but Rubik should be just easy kill. And Tatakai even went for a pointed swarm, which even amplifies the damage further, so... Okay, Empire Hope, Underlord disconnected from the game. Hopefully he comes back soon. We're seeing this mid lane matchup a bit where Lightless has managed to kind of tie with Arrow, but I kind of want to see how the net worth is going, to be honest, because those kills really do matter. It was first blood as well, and it was solo kill first blood, so that's going to matter a lot, right? Really, first blood, I was expecting it to come from bottom, so that does say a lot about the inactivity of that bottom lane. Coming, I presume that's what it means, yeah. And the guy already has a time lapse as well. So I would expect that the guy to start diving towers now. Like, what's stopping you, right? You play with the tag team, try to kill the Pango, if not dive the tower, use timeless to get away. In this middle lane, though, the Rubik is looking for a kill here. They have a sentry, but I can't tell whose sentry it is right now, just because of this weird vision, and because they're quite on top of it. So I'm assuming because the sentry is so close to a ward, that's a Radiant sentry, which means they do see the Rubik, so he's not going to be surprised. In fact, Shadow Fiend could surprise them then. The Invis rune could matter there. I love the animation for Weaver because when you Shikuchi, which is, by the way, the name of Shikuchi actually comes from the sound, I think it's in Japan, which is, I want to say Japan, which is attributed, the onomatopoeia to someone that's slithering. The Shikuchi is the idea, which is interesting. It's also a technique and everything, but it was originally an onomatopoeia to talk about snakes and stuff, which is fascinating. I love that Dota has those little pieces of lore. Okay, resuming the game, no problem. Violet's not going to be killed by the Rubik. Okay, that is a Dire sentry, which is they haven't been rewarded yet. Or that it might be just out of range of the sentry, it's hard to tell. So Shadow Fiend can not get away with an Invis rune. It seems like he's keeping that as a safety precaution. And it's not going to work as a safety precaution because that's sentry. Yeah, it's just out of the range, the ward. Not the best sentry placement. I guess they kind of guessed that the enemy team had a ward to the side. Yeah, they should have seen him just barely going invisible here. But it's okay because he just wanted the bottle charges here. And he's moving towards the top lane. Or no, he's just going to farm jungle right now. Mastery though could be in trouble. Arrow. Okay, comes. A ghost ship is going to hit. Mastery can't do much about this. And with the ghost ship, he just easy kills, you know. Arrow, that's the advantage of a Kunkka. You really only need level 6. I said it before. Ghost ship deals so much damage you can pretty much kill anyone on the map that doesn't have some sort of, you know, mobility to get away. Like, for example, Weaver can time lapse before you actually hit him, and because the ghost ship is not that precise to hit, you know, you can actually get a bit off with the ghost ship. And Weaver's capable of time lapsing in that second, but Underlord is just as good as dead. And Weaver, with Weaver, I think you have to do the combo of Torrent Ghost Ship to secure that, because Torrent is much more secure to hit than the Ghost Ship. Just because Ghost Ship also takes longer as well, and Weaver can do shenanigans there. With Torrent Ghost Ship, you kind of surprise him. Okay, Arrow is rotating to the bottom lane. They want to kill Cheshire, or sorry, they want to kill Tatakai, obviously. He's a very valuable killer that can just finish him off, right? And you have a Pango to control him as well. You're probably waiting for Pango level 6 though, so you can get Rolling Thunder in on this initiation, and then you're just ready to fight. Top lane, this kill gave Naive a lot of space. In fact, Naive is actually beating the Underlord, even if he's slightly losing to the Weaver. Shadow Fiend ended up losing the lane there to the Kunkka. Okay, Shirkat could be in trouble. This is what I was talking about. You can just dive the tower, no problem. Shikuchi to find him. They just need a bit of extra damage. He's not going to find him in time, but the Swarm does give vision, so it's guaranteed to just kill. Very, very easy for them. Tusk's still very useless, by the way. This combo Tusk Weaver has not worked, or has not been used whatsoever. But, you know, at least the Weaver is doing his job, and being a carry and getting kills, which is what I expect from this mid-game carry. Kunkka seems to be going for, I think it's an Ag Scepter, actually. Interesting. Shadowblade, BKB, Ag, so he's deciding among 3. Don't love the Ag Scepter. I don't love the Ag Scepter because I don't think Empire has the kind of team that wants to play the specific area. So Torrenstorm, I guess Torrenstorm can be combined with the Will-O-Wisp, which is powerful, right? But you're just giving Empire Hope even more reasons to disengage completely, right? To use Dark Rift or to, well, do anything, really. Okay, they don't see right now. They don't see Tatakai. You're just giving, if you give Empire Hope more reasons to disengage you, right? And you only have, the only real catch you kind of have is Rolling Thunder or the X marks the spot. It's not great. So Torrenstorm, I don't love in this game. I hope they don't actually go for it, because Empire Hope would just evade all team fights that are include the Torrenstorm. A top lane with rotation from the Tuskar. Let's see if Tusk can actually do something useful here. He seems to be going for this guy. This could be a kill, but it's only level 1 tag team. I don't understand any Tuskar who ever goes for anything but level 2 tag team. They have a snowball to cancel this. Yep. And in comes the Dark Willow. Okay, they will kill the Caudle, but rotating a lot of heroes here, including the Weaver, which is, I would argue, unnecessary. Unless they're going to take a tower as a result, which would be okay. They do not take the outpost in time, so that... Oh, they do take the outpost in time, actually, so they both get experience, because the top outpost will actually get into Empire Hope, which is, I guess, a little bit of a win. Finally tagged in level 2-1 Tusk. It's such a big deal, you know, level 2 versus level 1. It literally doubles the damage. I don't know why you would ever go for Ice Shards above that. Like, Ice Shards give you, what, 90 extra damage, but for 100 more mana, it's not really enough. Okay, why would you ever waste the Cursed Crown on that? James, Rolling Thunder, misses him the second time though. James is playing well, positioning-wise, but here come the reinforcements. Cavalry's here. It's not going to be enough. James is evading completely. Plate of Malice used against the Kunkka. James wants to go back home, but you're going the wrong way, buddy. Your reinforcements are behind you. James is trying to run away from both the enemy team and his team, and for now he's accomplishing this. He has a Bramboys ready. He's trying to juke them away, and for now he is winning, but he just ends up finding them by accident. Hits them right in the face. He was doing a really good job of juking. But unfortunately, there were no reinforcements to be seen because they couldn't really get close to him. And this is a difficult fight to fight. Cheshire Cat does not have an ultimate, but Arrow is here. And the Goshen is available. They use the Will-O-Wisp. Will-O-Wisp gonna be annoyance. Mastery not cutting it. There's a Shadow Fiend joining in. He does the Boots of Travel. Tatakai also joins in. They're fighting under the tower, so they look at DP. They're gonna go for Arrow next. Arrow does get the kill on Mastery. Can they kill him off in time as well? Timeless has been used. Arrow is the target, but he's a bit too tanky. A TP from Pango. Arrow giving him time. In the end, Arrow was a big winner in this matchup. He does lose, of course, his life, but he gave so much time to his team to escape this. There was no hunt, apparently, so they couldn't get the counter kills to the Spectre, but it's okay, as Empire Hope don't quite win this matchup. It's kind of even in the end. A good rotation for Tatakai, but it's a 3-for-3 in the end, and you do make sure your offlaner survives. Sure, you lose your mid laner, which is not ideal, but your offlaner at least survives, and you killed the enemy offlaner in the process, so it could be much worse.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Nice little D ward there, actually. This control of the high ground is important because you want to secure the Spectre's farm. It stops potential Necronomicon builds if he wants to go for that as well. No, he's going to go for Manta style instead. Alright, so it's quick. Well, I mean, I say quick. It's the quickest Spectre you could possibly muster, right? Don't go for Necros. Instead, just go straight for the Manta and Diffusal Blade, I'm presuming, as the next item. Which helps you fight a bit earlier, but not as early as you'd like anyway. However, it does not take as long as a Radiance, right? And just because of the team for Empire Hope, this is the right choice, because if this goes late, doesn't really matter what build Spectre went for. She is going to destroy the whole enemy team. Weaver does not have enough damage, unfortunately.
Radiant are scanning. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Cheshire Cat. Okay, I don't really know why you're just walking around there. Spectre's also nearby. I'm not really sure what the plan is here. You're not going to kill Mastery for sure. I guess they're giving some farm to Spectre. Oh, right. They acknowledge that the top lane has been warded, so Spectre cannot farm there. So you're finding somewhere else. Yeah, that can work. Top lane, Cheshire Cat is the target. Oh, nice Bramble Mace stopping that potential Rolling Thunder, and also the Fear. He actually misses all the Brambles, but it's okay. Lightless got the kill, so that's worth. That's a killing spree going his way. Not a nice amount of extra gold. Lightless is starting to actually beat the Kunkka by a lot, so this is the mid game I was expecting from Empire Hope. However, the only pickoffs, they're not really able to team fight. I think the 5-on-5 engagement is still a bit difficult against the Kunkka or the Coddle, especially when you're playing when they have their ultimates ready, right? You kind of want to play around their ultimates, but it's a bit difficult because your ultimates are not particularly low cooldown either. Tatakai is trying to find some farm. He is going for a Maelstrom build, so he's trying to actually farm quicker than, say, a Spectre. He's trying to just out-farm it so that the Weaver gets to his late game before the Spectre does, which is another way to deal with this, actually. It's one of the... It's actually an old technique used a while ago when games were a bit, I guess, slower or more varied. You'd have things like Weaver, for example, or you know, Weaver, Juggernaut, whatever, which are where heroes used to be played kind of early-ish, right, before the changes, and they would go for this extra farming item because obviously in Weaver's case, your early game is already really strong. So it doesn't really matter if you have an item that actually helps you get kills, because anything helps you get kills. You're good without items already. Lycan is very similar in that regard. However, if you go for a Maelstrom in this case, you actually improve your farming speed as well. So in the off chance that Khan plays this defensively, you're not going to lose the game, because you can also play this defensively and beat them. And then there'll be a point when Weaver will be like 6k net worth over the Spectre, and that's your goal. This is especially effective if you saw that the Spectre went for Yasha as opposed to Necros. Because if you go for Yasha, or more Manta, right? It's guaranteed you're not going for Necros. You can't. You're wasting too much time and too much gold in the early going for these items that help you farm. So instead, you know this is going to be a Manta style build, and Spectre's going to try to fight as soon as possible, which means that either Khan gets her kills or she's going to farm relatively slowly. Which means Weaver has a lot of free time to just farm out of control and definitely out-farm a Spectre. It's actually very clever. It's very well done. I like this build by the Weaver. I think it's the right I think it's the right choice here. Okay, Ring of Aquila for Spec. Pango has a Blast, his first item. Oh, there they go. A Dark Willow with a Bramble Maze, the Ghost Ship. This is gonna hit her. She's in trouble, she's gonna go down, nothing to do. Unfortunately, you were close to enemy vision. They should realize this though, that there's some sort of vision around here that allows them to be so confident fighting in this area. So I would expect the sentries to come out offensively if you really want to stop the Spectre from farming right now. Eknard now in trouble. This is a big deal. Edge a spot. We'll ensure that this happens. However, Snowball gives him enough time. Here comes the Weaver. Tag team already used. They want to go for the Coddle. Lightless is also TPing to get closer. Will-O-Wisp has been forced out. The Pango's already gone, but Rolling Thunder has been completely useless by Cheshire Cat. Bouncing onto the Ice Sharks instead. Yamich is also about to lose his Shukuchi, but it doesn't really matter because Rolling Thunder is keeping the Shadow Fiend controlled. Shadow Fiend in the torch. Shadow Fiend can't do anything in this team fight. Useless TP as Takai is forced to go for that time lapse to save himself some HP. Going for Arrow next. Does deal a fair amount of damage. There's the Pit of Malice. But can he get away though? Shukuchi's available. Do they have Swashbuckle to finish him off? The Takai is being seen. They use the Spectral Dagger. It's gonna be enough damage that Takai goes down. But Naive also dies in the backlines thanks to Mastery's Firestorm. And with this, they only want to get the final kill on Cheshire Cat to make sure that this engagement is worth it. Snowball up to the high ground. They have Walrus Punch available as well. They go for the tag team and the Walrus Punch, sending him to the stratosphere. Khan losing in the end much more people than Empire Hope simply because Mastery survives this engagement. They even fight the Rubik. They put a sentry down, but Rubik, why? How did he evade that? They put a sentry down and he was dusted, but somehow they missed that? Okay, odd. He should have died there. That was weird. Maybe they thought it was high ground? I'm not really sure what happened there, but anyway. Anyway, in the end, I think it's pretty big. Oh, Empire, Lightless does get the kill on Yamich. There we go, Kato with a Blinding Light. Mastery wants to go forward, doesn't quite want to kill the Kato. It's a bit difficult. They're still getting the upper hand in these engagements, even if they're not managing to get the most farm on their carries. Like, Shadow Fiend died there uselessly, of course, but Weaver did a whole lot. And Weaver managed to be kind of useful in that engagement. And Mastery was fantastic. And giving Mastery some gold is actually important, because the pipe is also a very big deal here. It stops a lot of Kunka's damage. James, a bit too out of position, but so is Eknard. Arrow's thinking about it. Eknard has a Snowball. He's the worst target to do this to. There's the Snowball. He's going to go directly against Eknard. Oh, sorry, against Arrow. Fish Punch, Eknard could be in trouble. Rolling Thunder used. Nice Pit of Malice, stopping this Rolling Thunder. Tag team has been committed a bit too early. The fear onto the Pango. They want to stop the initiation. Eknard somehow still alive. He heals back up with the Magic Wand. Nobody can kill Eknard for now, but nobody is dying on the other side either. And Eknard is very close to dying. Will-O-Wisp finally being committed. Eknard gets away just barely as the Rolling Thunder actually hits him in the pinball area. And that Will-O-Wisp makes it impossible for them to leave. Tatakai is the first to go down. They activate the Pit Lord, but they can't actually get back home. That Dark Rift does not complete in time. It's only level 1. And Lightless left this engagement way too early, so they couldn't really fight this. That was not the initiation you were looking for whatsoever.
Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant are scanning. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
Arrow, stunned there.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Double damage. Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
They are good. I'll take a show pill here on Khan's side. They understand that they've gotten a really good team fight, but it obviously wasn't representative of the whole game. It's kind of difficult to win these team fights, of course. They have to use all their ultimates, and of course Shadow Fiend was gone. Shadow Fiend needs that BKB to be able to fight more consistently. So does the Takai, actually. I would argue that the Weaver needs to go BKB as his next item. He is lacking a bit of damage, though, with that Maelstrom build, to be honest. So I wouldn't mind seeing a Weaver going for maybe like a Diffusal as well. The thing about Weaver is that Maelstrom is... Maelstrom is okay, like I mentioned, for farming. It does give you a little bit of a boost early, but it does not synergize with the rest of your skills, because obviously the armor reduction does not go well with Maelstrom because it's magical damage. Spectre's also trying to, or managing to actually farm at your level too. There's the BKB on Shadow Fiend, that might help a bit. Weaver, again, like, you benefit from this passive time, but you're not that strong. You're not dominant just yet in the team fights. You need those BKBs to really make a difference. You also have to plus BKB on the Shadow Fiend, by the way, so completely defensive build, relying completely on your skills. Naive is going to tank this smoke. I don't think it's the best of ideas, though. Yeah, it's completely worth it for Naive. They get the fear. He does get dealt a lot of damage. I think it was a Blade Mail I saw on Naive. Yep, I think that was a Blade Mail, and they don't want to fight this. Why? Coddle, what was that Will-O-Wisp? Kind of a waste. Damage does steal the Pit of Malice. Maybe they can fight this. Not sure, though. Pango's nearby. They have the Sword Fight on the Will-O-Wisp. Still in the Pit of Malice. There's the Dark Rift. They seem to want to fight this. Dark Rift will complete in time, however. Ghost Ship also used, and everyone's gone. That's all your ultimates used for getting not a single kill there. The clumsy net on Underlord is brutal, by the way. I didn't notice they had the clumsy net. It's so good. It's the best item on Underlord, actually. You can find neutral. I mean, you can actually keep it and like it, because it's better than Monomate even. Okay, so you get the kill on Yamich. Not that big a deal, but hey, it's a kill. And this can secure the Roshan for you. Tag team plus Swarm. That's a quick Roshan if I've ever seen one. Enemy team does not see anything. Yeah, just thank you, Observe, for making that check. And thanks to the tag team. No Swarm has been used on these Roshan for some reason, but they do have tag team, so that's good enough. I'm going to take it relatively quickly, Mastery tanking it, and probably give it to Weaver. There we go. The guy takes that ages. Now, my question is, does this mean that Weaver is not going to go for BKB early, so he can actually take advantage of this ages? We'll see. We'll see. Kunkka, BKB and Ags next. Okay, so he is still banking on those 3 items. I don't love the Shadow Blade build either, to be honest with you. But I guess it does surprise heroes like Shadow Fiend. Because when you know that someone's gonna go for Yule Scepter as a Kunkka, the only option you really have is either bait out a lot of X marks the spot into Torrent, whatever, that's an option. Or alternatively, surprise them with the Torrent, right? And the best way to surprise them with the Torrent is of course being invisible or just out of vision in general. So it's the best way. It's not stupid. I don't mind the Shadow Blade build in general, like for this guy. SNY is the next item for Weaver. Okay. Lightless coming by. Nice Yules, but just barely mistimed there. Because he actually, if he had waited like 0.5 seconds more, he would have been able to Yules him and proceed to actually get the kill there. Because he would have been able to X-Mark the spot behind. That's a good play. That's another reason why you want to go for Yules against the Kunkka. It's counter to a lot of his abilities. I mean, obviously to export the spot, but export the spot has multiple uses, including the defensive use. It's really hard to calculate that, though, of course. It's 8 seconds, so it's for you to know exactly how long he's been, you know, during those 8 seconds, how long it'll be till he actually goes back automatically. It's impossible. It's impossible for you to tell. So you just kind of have to guess and hope that you'll Scepter is right. Okay, Kunkka, this is not what you were looking for, right? Bramble Maze plus the pit, he's stuck on the edge. Yep, they use the Ghost Ship to mitigate some damage. It does hurt James a bit, but you lost your Kunkka here. It's a big deal. Without Arrow, you can't really fight. Snowball's been used as well by the Tusk. He finds Yamich, Fish Punch, the tag team as well to slow him down. Yamich trying to TP. There's no way I shift cancel this TP. But in comes Lightless with a special Yule Scepter for delivery, making sure that Yamich cannot get away. Good job, Lightless. Meanwhile, on the backlines, they also go for Ducalis. It's just a Dark Willow mainly, with Mastery helping out a bit, giving him some extra damage. Infinite scaling, woo, on this Underlord, as he takes this kill onto the Coddle. That's 2 supports and a mid laner dead, which guarantees at least a tier 2 tower, if not more.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
Pod and Sword finished up for the Underlord. Or sorry, picked up by the Underlord, sorry, which can be given to the Weaver or the Shadow Fiend. Actually, we'd rather see this on the Shadow Fiend. Obviously, Underlord's not going to pick it up because you have Clumsy Net, and nothing substitutes Clumsy Net. Honestly, I don't think you should ever sub Clumsy Net this game. I don't care what potential late game items you get. It's not. Maybe the cooldown reduction items. Maybe. Oh no! What just happened, Coca? Why are you caught out there? Arrow, with no vision, walks into the enemy, walks to the high ground, thinking that doesn't work. There's the blade mail I was talking about on the Spectre. I'm going to finish off Naive. The Pit of Malice, unfortunately, can only last for so long. I mean, come on, he was there forever. We're trying to cancel his TP. Lilas is really close, but not quite. Unfortunately, Lilas had the Yoset ready up, but he wasn't able to finish him off. In fact, there I would have actually suggested a Requiem of Souls used from the far end. Or at least baiting it out early. Because you can actually stop the TP with fear. Okay, the Pango could be in trouble as the Yules set up, so they can actually continue with the Pit of Malice. Will-O-Wisp been dropped to save the Pango's life. Will-O-Wisp immediately destroyed, and Pango also follows suit. So unfortunately, they can't really do much with this, and they're gonna go now for the melee racks. There's the Pit of Malice, stopping them in their tracks. Lightless still going for more kills, but Shukuchi has been stolen by Yamich, so he's gonna be perfectly fine. They want to destroy at least the melee racks. Arrow's finally here. He does not have the ghost ship though, which is important. A snowball's been used. What is a snowball for? Just a defensive snowball to get away. Excellent spot to stop Eknard, but it is not. It's actually going to miss the torrent. And now they have the Requiem of Soul. That blame won't do anything. Empire, they just got a free kill here on Naive. Way too cocky, disrespecting the Shadow Fiend Yo's BKB build. And Khan, I mean, you just lost the racks as well, but you just lost a free carry for no reason other than his cockiness, because he was doing nothing there. He was doing absolutely nothing.
Mine.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire are scanning.
Let's see if they can manage to take an extra tier 2 as a result of the Spectre death, perhaps. I mean, you don't have Haunt right now, so you could potentially fight. We haven't really been able to use any effective Haunts this game, frankly. Ooh, you have Telescope on Rubik, that's nice actually. At least the items they're dropping are nice for this team, but they're not really able to do much with them. Let's see, James. Why are you here without your team? I'm not really sure. You again has a blink. This Shadow Fiend is full committing on the Requiem of Souls build. There we go. Oh no, not again! This SF is gonna get another free kill on the Spectre. This is really bad. Naive, still fear, but he might heal just enough thanks to that Fairy Fire. Is that gonna be sufficient? Snowball coming in. That greater Fairy Fire might have just saved Naive's life. Oh lord, now they go for the Weaver. Weaver's forced immediately. Requiem of Soul stolen by Yamich. Doesn't do enough because he doesn't actually hit anyone. So gladly they managed to get away. In comes Eknart, going for Yamich. They're thinking of killing him. They don't want to keep the Requiem of Souls. He steals instead the Shadow Realm. Thank you for pointing it out, Observer. So he can now be unkillable, literally. I think that was incredibly lucky. You can't really calculate the greater Fairy Fire saving you that moment, really. It's not going to win you the game, but... No, what? Does James notice there's someone there? He goes for the Courier. Instead, they find the Kunkka. And what are you doing there alone, Arrow? They forced the BKB, which means you lost your advantage because SF just used this BKB. And you had a bit of an advantage here in the next team fight, but now without the Kunkka BKB, you can't really fight. Why was that the plan? And now the Pango's also found out. Cheshire Cat, and now you put the Swarm down. Oh, are you bouncing on purpose? It's supposed to be a TP. They're going to chase after you with the Shikuchi. Essence Ring's been used. Another, again, really lucky neutral. All these neutrals that give you the extra HP are really helping out Khan right now. Ice Frog really wants them to win. I mean, they shouldn't be playing like this. Arrow, here's the Yules. Ramblaze was up as well. Arrow, he's been rooted. He gets the Torrent off. He does get the Torrent off, actually, but Telekinesis is what actually stuns Mastery. And the bottom lane, Spectre is solo farming, by the way. Weaver sees an opportunity to kill the Spectre. Fortunately, Weaver's not a great Silver Edge carrier.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Bounty.
The guy proceeding to push in the bottom lane. Lane's taking an illusion rune. That's fantastic for him. he sees an opportunity to maybe go for Yamich or Duskullus. Duskullus, I guess. Duskullus, yeah. I haven't seen Khan before, by the way. I'm assuming it's just a stand-in for him. Knife. Wave. Okay, just TPs. Perfectly fine.
Your admiral is on board.
Yes.
Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
Mastery, he does a bit of knowledge, Cheshire okay. The Yol Scepter to set up, but he has his own Yols to counter this. The Ghost Ship will hit, Cheshire Cat still wasting a lot of time actually. Requiem of Souls has been wasted with this. That's pretty good. But he still ends up dying, so they get the result that we're looking for. Questionable if that was ended up being a waste of a Requiem, because the result what you were looking for is insta-kill Pango, and you insta-kill Pango. That's fine. You still have a Catapult with you, so you're going to be capable of pushing and trying to de-push this lane. Rubik very smart trying to do that, but unfortunately, either the Coddle finds a way to kill this Catapult or it's over. They're trying to protect the best they can. Oh no, the Catapult's about to go down. Eknard, meanwhile, going straight for the Konka. Konka now in fear. Lightless coming in. They're forcing the Will-O-Wisp. They have the Pit of Malice though. They need to use it down. Arrow, stopped by the Ice Shards. Arrow forced to go invisible. Arrow, will he survive? For now, it seems like he is. We were still going for him. The Dust is going to end up sentencing him to death as Duskullus also goes down. Arrow calls the GG. He does not want to play anymore. He's discarded from this game. He is done. He has had a really bad game, unfortunately. And Empire Hope will get the first game of this series. And a very confident performance, honestly. Very well done, Empire Hope. They had a really solid draft. I did mention that their draft was quicker, so it was just a matter of time. That was a massive Dark Willow there at the end. So, this is a best of 3. We still have one more game at the very least. Let's see if Khan can bring it back, and they can get this game number 2 to potentially take this best of 3. My name is DSwordfish. I've been your caster for today. Hope you enjoyed the cast, as per usual, of course. And before we go, we have one last message from our sponsors. Guys, our partner EGB.com gives you an awesome proposal at first deposit bonus of up to $600. At EGB.com, you can also find convenient service, daily quest, and a bonus system. Interested? Click on the banner under the broadcast to learn more. My name is DSwordfish. It's been a pleasure, and I'll see you guys with the next game of the day in a couple minutes. Until then.
EGB, your esports betting world. The only place to find the widest choice of popular games and matches to win real money. Choose your bet on a single event or express of several matches with dizzy odds. Serving the market for 7 years with over 800,000 users. Join now to get your bonus for the first deposit up to $600. EGB, you know for sure who's gonna win.